Hi, my name is Jennifer Hansen, and today I'm going to introduce you to one of the benefits of becoming your own banker. We're going to focus on turning liabilities into assets using financing as a wealth creation strategy. Most Americans borrow because they have to, but wealth creators borrow because they want to. The way you and I finance our lives always impacts our wealth. For better or for worse, it just does. The first principle to increasing our wealth is to understand the power of our cash flow. Everything, and I mean everything we buy, involves financing. We either borrow money and pay interest to someone else to use their money, or we pay cash, which drains our savings, so we have to give up the ability to earn interest on that money for the rest of our lives. We call that lost opportunity cost. Every financial decision we make impacts every other financial decision because they're all tied together. We're going to compare two ways to finance a car using cousin A and cousin B, who buy the exact same car for the exact same price, same interest rate. But before they buy those cars, they both attend seminars on wealth creation. Cousin A's seminar was all about using the government-promoted Qualified Internal Revenue Code plans in the 400 series. And he selected the 401k, well, because it had the longest line, so it must be the best, right? And he was enticed by the immediate tax deduction, his company's match, and the fact that it allows his money to grow tax-deferred. But who's opening Cousin A's chest of money on the bottom right? Well, it's his partner, the IRS. They don't invest any money, and they don't take any risk. But every April 15th, they're going to check out how their money is growing too. Cousin B's seminar was different. It emphasized liquidity, so he has the use and the control of his cash flow. He identifies ways to capture money that's currently being lost, unknowingly or unnecessarily. And he uses these funds to build additional wealth, properly using an Internal Revenue Code 7702, where his assets will grow tax-advantaged. You can see that he's in a hurry to put his money someplace other than that chest where his cousin has his money, because if he wants to take his money out penalty and tax-free at any time, he wants to be able to do that without restriction. So, cousin A we're going to call a debt manager, and cousin B an asset manager, simply because of the way they manage their money. They both go to the same slick car salesman, and as I mentioned earlier, buy the same car for the same price and the same interest rate. But how are they financing those cars? That's the big question. Because cousin A has been putting his money in his 401k, he doesn't really want to go borrow money from there. There's taxes and penalties and restrictions, and he doesn't want to deal with that. So, like most people, he's going to go to his corner bank. And they look at his credit score and credit history and say he's been a good debt manager in the past, so they're willing to lend him the money, and they set up a $230 a month payment, which he faithfully pays for the next 4 years. Cousin B, because he's been putting his money into the 7702, which he calls his family banking system, he is able to borrow the $10,000 from that system to finance his car. But he also sets up a repayment plan of the $230 a month, and so after 4 years, both cousins have repaid 448 payments to their respective finance companies. But, as we all know, cars depreciate in value, don't they? So we're going to say this car's now worth about $4,000, or each of their cars. And they've both paid $11,054 for their cars. But the question is what happened to every penny of that principal and interest? Well, for cousin A, didn't it go down this black hole? We call this the rat hole. Rat hole, corner bank, same. You know why? Because he's never going to see any of that money again. Cousin B's, on the other hand, repaid that money into his own family banking system, so it's available for him to use to purchase something else next time. If we include the $4,000 value of the depreciated car, Cousin A has a grand total of $15,054 after that purchase. So you can see why he's jumping up and down on cloud 9. Cousin A has a grand total of $4,000 and he's run over to that rat hole to see where the rest of his money is. He knows if he continues to finance his life that way, that rat hole's going to grow larger and larger and consume a heck of a lot of his retirement money. We all know that money doesn't grow on trees, but trees have branches, and so do banks. And Cousin A, by financing his life this way, is helping his corner bank grow lots and lots of branches. So when you finance your next car or vacation, business expansion or equipment or kids' education, wedding, anything that you finance, you will either increase your net worth or decrease it. You can be a Cousin A or a Cousin B because you have a choice. Which cousin do you want to be? If you'd like to be Cousin B, you can set up an appointment with me and I will ask you to read Becoming Your Own Banker by best-selling author Nelson Nash. Thank you very much. Have a great day. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.